Good morning, students! So yesterday we talked about different weather types like cloudy, sunny, rainy, stormy, hot, cold. Today we are going to talk about weather versus climate. So our objective today is I can tell the difference between weather and climate. So repeat after me. I can tell the difference between weather and climate. Great job! So the purpose of this lesson is to know the difference between weather and climate so you can make decisions and predict weather in the coming days, but also in the coming years. So today I want you to get out the graphic organizer that we started yesterday. We filled out the weather portion, and today we are going to fill out the climate portion. So when you have this graphic organizer out, give me a big thumbs up. Great, it looks like everybody has it out. Let's get started. So we're going to look at our PowerPoint first. So we're going to do weather versus climate. So to review weather, the definition is weather is what it looks like outside at a certain time and place, and it changes day to day. So then we looked at some different types of weather. We saw some snowy, cloudy, sunny, hot, cold, pretty, which is sunny, partly cloudy. We looked at all different types of weather. So today we are going to look at climate. So climate is the weather a place has over a long period of time in a specific area. So I want you to get out your graphic organizer, and I want you to fill out the climate definition. There's two fill in the blanks, so I want you to fill in those blanks. And when you have finished, give me another big thumbs up. Alright, I'm seeing lots of thumbs up, so I think we are ready to go on. So now that we know the definition of climate, I want you to think really hard about where we live and what you think the climate is where we live. Can anybody think of what the climate might be? Yeah, hot. I think it's really hot. Oh, humid. Good job. I think it is really humid almost all year long. So let's see. Let's look at a map of North America with the different climate zones, and we are going to see where we live. So we live right here in Texas, and it says hot and humid. So we do live in a hot and humid climate zone. So even though we do have cold days, it's mostly hot and humid throughout the year. So that would be our climate, is hot and humid. So can someone come up and point to Colorado and tell me what climate zone they're in? Great job. They're in the cold climate zone. So for most of the year, their average temperature is cold. What about Mexico? Can anyone tell me what climate zone Mexico is mostly in? Great job. They're in hot, dry, and then they're about half and half, so hot, dry, and hot and humid. So they're in both climate zones. So now that we know some of the climate zones, I want you to look at your graphic organizer again, and there is a section that says types of climates, and there's 4 blanks. So I want you to fill in those blanks, and you can use the chart up here, or you can use your neighbor to help you. When you have gotten those done, give me a thumbs up. Alrighty, it looks like everybody is finishing up. So while y'all are finishing up, I want to look at a question. It says, how do we distinguish between weather and climate? Who could tell me how we tell the difference between weather and climate? Great job. So climate is over a long period of time, and weather is just day to day. So it could be the weather yesterday, the weather today, the weather tomorrow, the weather on a certain day. That's just the weather for today. The climate is over a long period of time, over a year or 2 years. That is the climate. of a place. So let's go on. I'm going to post some statements, and we are going to figure out if they are weather statements or if they are climate statements. So it says, tomorrow it will be sunny and windy. So when I think of that statement, I think, it says tomorrow. So if it's asking about tomorrow, then that must be the weather, because it didn't say over a long period of time it will be sunny and windy. It just said the weather, tomorrow it will be sunny and windy. So that lets me know that it's talking about weather and not climate. So let's move on to the next one. Who can tell me what this statement is? The weather is usually hot in Texas. So would that be a weather statement or a climate statement? Great job. It is a climate statement because it's talking about what the weather is usually like in Texas. That's over a long period of time. Let's go to the next one. 2 days ago, it was rainy and cloudy. So is that a weather statement or a climate statement? Great job, it's a weather statement. What gave you clues that it was a weather statement, not a climate statement? Yes, it is a weather statement because it says 2 days ago. So that gave you a hint that it's talking about weather on a certain day and not over a long period of time. So we've gone over 3 statements. I want you to give me a thumbs up if you are understanding it, a thumbs sideways if you still need a little more help, or a thumbs down if you're just not understanding it at all and need extra help. Alright, I see a lot of thumbs ups and a lot of thumbs sideways. So we have another activity that we are going to work together, and if you need extra help or you're not understanding anything, be sure to call me over and I will come and help. Alright, so our next activity is a sorting activity. We are going to get in groups, and y'all are going to sort the statements into weather statements and into climate statements. So I want you to work together with your group and sort the statements. If you need help or not understanding something, please be sure to call me over and I will be sure to explain. So come up here and look for your group name, or look what group you are in and find those friends, and I will bring around the pieces of paper. So I'm going to give you a minute to get sorted. Okay, so after all the groups are together, I'll be walking around and observing the groups to check for understanding and misconceptions. After all the groups are completed, I will go over the statements as a class, and if they have any questions or they don't understand one, I will explain it further at that time. Okay, so great job, class, sorting those statements. Y'all did so good. Now I have some different activities for y'all to practice climate and weather on. I want you to choose one activity out of the 3. I'm going to explain all 3. So the first one I have is a seesaw activity. The seesaw activity is similar to the activity you just did as a group. You are going to sort statements under weather and climate, and then you are going to write some of your own statements. So that's the seesaw activity. The next activity is to create a PowerPoint presentation over a climate zone. So you are going to create a PowerPoint you choose a climate zone in North America, and you can do a PowerPoint presentation, and you're going to include both weather and climate statements. And then your third option is to create a comic over weather versus climate. So in the comic, you are going to create your own imaginative comic, and you are going to include both weather statements and climate statements in it. So for all these assignments, I have created a rubric, and you will be able to see what you need to include in those assignments and exactly how I will be grading it. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will come over and help. But please be creative with the assignments, and I really hope you enjoy them. So the lesson I just completed was a 5th grade science lesson over TEK 8A. The student knows that there are recognizable patterns in the natural world and among the sun, earth, and moon system, and the student is expected to differentiate between weather and climate. So my class has a wide range of learners. To make the differentiated opportunities for independent practice, I allowed the students to choose one of 3 formative assessments. The assessments ranged from simple to more complex, and for my advanced students, they were able to choose a project that allowed them to be more creative and research information. And then for my lower students, they had the option to do the seesaw activity, which was similar to the group activity we did. And for the lower students, if they want to do the seesaw activity and then they decide that they want to do another one, then they are more than welcome to choose the PowerPoint or the comic strip to work on. All the activities allowed me to gather individualized students' data and provide academic feedback, and the rubrics really helped me keep the scoring even and allowed the students to know exactly what I will be scoring their projects on. So 2 of my students in my class had IEPs for reading comprehension. When using the PowerPoint, I made sure to include pictures for visual cues, and also before letting the students sort statements into groups, I made sure to put the students with IEPs with students who are strong readers. Also, when I put the students into groups, I intentionally grouped them with the advanced students and students who are not yet proficient, and so the grouping will make sure to raise achievement by challenging the students, because some students are good in one subject area but maybe not as strong in other subject areas. So they will help challenge each other and teach each other in the way that I grouped them.